Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. We've got Andy back again, as promised. I think the last few uploads, the first one I definitely missed a week, but it's just because I was away. They're coming thick and fast now. Today we're going to record a little video about food and about getting your food in when it gets a little bit higher. So I'm obviously coming to the end of my off season now. My total calorie intake, its peak was about 5,900, excluding an intra workout. So quite a lot of food. That's in excess of. It's nearly 900 grams of carbs a day. I think it was 100 grams of fat and 300 protein. So it's a lot of food to get in. And I know that people struggle to get a lot of food in, whether it's that high or not. It was all, we're all at a slightly different set point, I think, when it comes to appetite and food and how we get that food in. So today I'm gonna take you through 5, maybe 6 tips of how to get your food in. And I guess the best way to get it in as well. So not just how to get that many calories in, but also how to make sure you're actually utilizing that food that's going in. So let's get into it. Okay, cool. So the first thing I'm actually going to talk about is, it's going to be like eating practices. So I'm going to talk about that first kind of preface of when you're eating this much food, it's all well and good, but you need to make sure your body's actually able to digest it and use that food. So there should be like a bit of a, I call it a pre-feeding checklist within coaching, that all clients will get a welcome pack, and there'll be a list of things that they need to do before they eat in an ideal scenario. I know it can't always be, these sort of demands can't always be met. But in an ideal scenario, you don't want to be rushing around. So that's kind of point number one of point one. You want to be getting yourself in a nice, calm, chilled out state before you sit down to eat that meal. The reason is, if you're rushing around, maybe it's between clients, you're in a, you're a busy PT in the gym. I've seen PTs before sitting in the changing room, gobbling down their food quickly, not chewing it properly before they have to run off to the next client. Heart rate's high, it's not even had a chance to come down, it stays high, and then we're going off to train or train a client again. When you're in this stress state, this would be called the sympathetic nervous system state, you're not relaxed. So we've got fight or flight, and then we've got rest and digest, and we always want to be in rest and digest when we are eating. So there's a few kind of hacks you can do to get this. If you are super busy and you just need to kind of recenter yourself and relax a bit, go somewhere quiet if you can, and then just spend some time with doing some guided breathing. So it sounds a bit hippie and a bit meditative, but it really works. Spend 1 to 2 minutes just breathing in really slowly and breathing out really slowly. Again, close your eyes if you want. I guess it is a little bit of a meditation. 6 seconds in, hold it for a couple of seconds, 6 seconds out, and then go again. Do that for 2 minutes. Your heart rate will come right down, and then you'll kind of almost have hacked yourself into that parasympathetic nervous system. So that's kind of point one of that point. Number 2 is about chewing. So ideally you want to be chewing between, ideally above 20 times per mouthful. So you'll see people shovel it in, a few chews, swallow it down. It's not broken down in the mouth, it then has to sit in the stomach where it has to get broken down further there. Actually, if we just chew it, I mean, up to 40 times is ideal. There's lots of kind of booster bonuses from doing this as well. There's quite an important thing that's released called GLP-1. I believe it's an enzyme that does all sorts of good things in the body, but it's going to help us digest that food. So that's really, really important. So up to 40 chews, but at least 20 each mouthful before you swallow your food, so that your saliva gets in there, gets a chance to break that food down in your mouth before it goes into the stomach, and then you're going to make sure that you can actually digest it a bit easier, rather than sitting there with a heavy stomach, feeling a bit bloated, feeling like you've just got loads of bulk in your stomach, which obviously is never comfortable. And then finally, in terms of like I guess a pre-feeding checklist, this could be a post-feeding checklist. It's just like a short walk. So either before or after your meal, literally 10 minutes around the block, just gonna help you digest that food a bit easier. And then I guess the final thing is just don't eat too close to bedtime. There's a lot of myths about eating close to bedtime. Doesn't make you more fat, doesn't make you anything like that, doesn't make you whatever. But if you go to bed with food sitting in your stomach, rather than your body sleeping, your body's gonna be actually concentrating on trying to digest that food before you start sleeping. So you're gonna struggle to get into a deep sleep, which obviously we know is not a good thing. So tip number 2 is about eating windows. I guess your one big eating window, which is the time that you're awake. So the number one thing I would say is, when my food gets even higher, I'm gonna just shift that eating window forward a bit more. So when I'm on prep, for example, I won't eat until maybe 11, 12 in the day, because I'm trying to shorten that window. The opposite works when you're trying to get loads of food in. So I get up as early as possible so I can get a nice chunk of work done, and then get that first meal in almost before I would normally. So now, for example, I get up at between 5:30 and 6, I'll have a coffee, I'll do a couple of hours work, and then 8 o'clock comes and I'm having my first meal. 8 o'clock is probably a bit extreme, but like, it's a bit of a bonus meal. So that meal that I get in, it's like I've not even noticed it going in, so I will typically have something I'm going to talk about in the next point, which is a smoothie. And that's a really convenient, easy way for me to, I've already got a big head start. If I miss that meal out on that day, like I'm already behind. So getting up a bit earlier, getting that first meal in before you would normally is going to help. And obviously there's no detriment to eating as soon as you get up if you've got the appetite, whereas there is if you leave loads of it to cram in at the end of the day. So get up a bit earlier, elongate that window, and you've got more time to get your food in. Cool, so point number 3, I think we're literally going to call this smoothie. It's like an infamous smoothie. I've been having this ever since the calories started to get just that little bit higher than I'd like. So this is my first meal of the day, every day. Without this, I just get so far behind. The beauty of blending up a meal or food is like, this is all really healthy stuff. So 60 grams of isolate in here, isolate whey. There's 100 grams of oats. There is 150 grams of blueberries. That's just because I'm going away tomorrow, I need to use them more. Wouldn't normally put that much in. And then a banana. I normally add some like almond butter to this as well for a bit of fats. But that means I'm sitting on 1,000 calories of basically protein, carbs, and fats if I want it, all from like healthy sources. It's whole, unprocessed food. And like I said, it gives me a really, really big head start on that day. So I've not done the absolute macros on this, but it's gonna be close to 1,000. So I've already eaten 1,000 calories before I've even started actually eating or having to prepare anything. So this is a big tip. You can put loads of stuff in this. I've seen people put yogurt in it. I don't do that because it messes my digestion. But yeah, you can make it whatever you want, whatever flavor you want. And this, probably when my appetite's low, is my favorite meal of the day because it's not loads of cooking, loads of chewing, loads of eating. I just drink it and then we move on. So tip number 3 is find yourself a nice smoothie recipe with lots of calories in it and enjoy it every day. So the next thing we're going to talk about is your food choices. And this is like a big one. This is probably the main tip that I'll give a lot of people when they're like, Joe, I'm really struggling to get my food in. So we can sort of manipulate the foods that we intake based on the phase that we're in. So in prep, you probably hear me talk about like, we want loads of volume. We want things that are going to leave us feeling satiated, satisfied, and not feeling like we need to eat every minute of the day, which is sometimes hard to get your mind off. But when we're trying to stuff loads of food in, it wants to be the complete opposite. So I'm always choosing foods that are going to be calorie dense, probably quite tasty, but not always too tasty because then it can be a bit rich. I'll be swapping those foods in for foods that are the total opposite. So one big example, whilst I've got oats in that shake, obviously they don't blow up, they don't volumize in the shake. If you're eating porridge, for me, I'll just avoid that in an off season. You might like it, but as food gets higher and higher, when I think about oats, I think about this big, hot, voluminous bowl of food. It's gonna sit heavy in the stomach, potentially not as easily digested as some other carb sources. So I would probably avoid like cooked oats. Some other options, a lot of people like cream of rice. I'm not particularly big on that. I think the sweetened nature of it turns me off a bit in the off season when my taste buds are already getting battered. But we could swap oats in for something like granola, shreddies. People shit themselves with things like this. It's like, oh my God, sugar and all this stuff that's in shreddies. It's like, it's just wheat, bro, with some sugar in it. So things like that, they're nice and heavy. 100 grams of shreddies versus 100 grams of cooked oats is gonna look very different. And the same goes for granola. That's the low fat ones. There's 30% less fat in there. Apparently helps lower cholesterol, whatever. Not if you're taking steroids. Also, little bonus tip, within the granola is raisins. Dried fruit is a really big one for me. So I've run out at the moment, but I normally put them in my smoothie. So again, 50 grams of raisins is coming up for probably 45 grams of carbs. You can literally fit that in your hand. So a really easy way to get food in. Next up, we'll talk about other swaps. So maybe it's slightly more savory. So things like potatoes, pretty bulky. Again, this is the sort of thing that I would have in prep. So I'd make maybe like air fryer chips or just like boiled potato or baked potato. Quite a lot of volume in that for not a lot of carb, which is, like I said, great when we're dieting, but not so great when we're not. So we want to swap it something like jasmine rice. So there's 100 grams, 250 grams in there of cooked rice. And if you look at the actual volume, I can probably fit that in like 5 mouthfuls if I was really trying. And we're getting, I think there's about 90 grams of carbs just in that packet. So jasmine rice, great option. Sticky rice, great option. So I'd aim for those. Next up, talk about liquid calories. So again, thinking about prep, maybe things like Diet Coke to curb your cravings and curb your hunger and fill you up, make you feel a bit bloated. Maybe things like Monsters, stuff like that. In off season, I'm typically going to avoid that and I might swap for something like fruit juice. So this is like an absolute no-go in prep. But 100 ml of that, which is probably about a mouthful, is 10 grams of carbs. So there's 1.35 litres in there. I could easily go through half of that in a day and that is gonna give me 60, 70 grams of carbs. And I think the bonus with fruit juices as well, like it is, whilst it's kind of liquid sugar, it's fructose and it does have a lot of vitamins and minerals in it. So you're kind of getting some of your micronutrient quota in with that. What you'll typically find in my fridge is the innocent smoothies. So they're not from concentrate, they're literally blended fruits and veg, which is great for me to get that in. So that's a big one. One of those big bottles is normally like 90 grams of carbs, which is obviously just another great boost towards where you're trying to get to. And then finally, intra-carb powder. So I won't drink this outside of the workout. I don't particularly like it, I don't enjoy it. But again, it's like at its peak, I was getting 75 grams of carbs directly from carb powder during my workout. So it's just another big boost, another big bolus of calories. And also there will be some potential performance benefits from that if you're using it. So they would be my easy food swaps. So the final point is going to be around convenience and just making things really easy for yourself. So I don't know if many of you have read Atomic Habits, but there's quite a big section in that book which is around making your goals like as easy and as frictionless for you to reach. So going to the gym, for example, that would be like making sure that the gym is on your way to work or on your way home from work. You don't have to deviate from it, you can just go to it on the way and then get home. The same kind of goes for food. So obviously, if you're really busy, you're either working a full-time job or you're a busy PT or whatever, convenience is going to be really key. If you make it really hard for you to create nice tasting meals, if you make it really hard for you to cook nice tasting meals, you're not going to want to get your food in if you're asked about taste, which you should want to be, by the way, because taste creates saliva, which has knock-on effects to digestion. So what I look for in the supermarkets is things that just make stuff easy for myself. So things like this, diced onions. I don't have to cut up loads of onions, make loads of mess, just chuck it in a pan and it's ready to go. Again, even more convenient, things like this. So steam fresh, microwave bags of vegetables. Still want to make sure you're getting your veg in your off season. So if you can put it in the microwave for 2.5 minutes while you cook the rest of your meal, that's great. We've already seen this fan favorite, microwave rice. I'm sure you all know what this is, but again, just makes things super easy. I guess another alternative to this would be like a rice cooker, whereby it's just there, ready to go. But obviously things like this you can just take to work with you. It's not messy and it tastes good. And then again, easy to get in carbs. So I think one of the main problems we might come across is like when I'm traveling, I'm in the car for a long day, I'm thinking, how am I gonna get carbs in? So things like Snacker Jacks. This is where overnight oats and cream of rice does come in handy. It travels well, it's not gonna go off, it still tastes all right cold. And that's kind of what you wanna look for in meals. And then finally, shout out NutriFast. So if you can afford it, if it's within your budget, meal prep companies are great. So in here we've got sweet chili salmon, rice and veg. So I'm kind of getting the full panel of what I need in there. There's a good whole unprocessed protein source. There's a nice amount of carbs in there, I think 75 grams of carbs. And I'm getting my micronutrients from my veg. So if you can manage a meal prep company, great. If you can't, obviously just make it super easy for yourself to make tasty meals. And I think the main thing to look for me, and I'm just pretty fussy with this, I really hate like reheating chicken. So when I used to work the 9 to 5, I would find the meals that tasted good reheated. So things like turkey sausages, I think taste really good, chicken sausages, mince, whether that is turkey mince, beef mince, whatever mince, and chicken I would avoid personally, but that's just like a personal tip. Don't know if I missed anything there, I'd be interested to hear any of your guys' tips, but they were my tips for getting hella food in. I hope you've enjoyed that. Like, comment, subscribe, and obviously ask any questions if you have any, and I'll catch you in the next one.